What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
This is the OPS pregame report.
We are live from Spartan Arena at Homestead High School for a showdown between two of the best girls basketball teams that the state of Indiana has to offer. Good evening. I'm Anthony Gery, joined alongside color broadcaster Noah Lancz and sideline reporter Jenna Lane, as we are just under 7 minutes out from tip-off of tonight's game. And Noah, we have been gifted some amazing home games so far this year, but this one seems to just have a little bit different of an atmosphere.
And we definitely have had some great games here. 3 already in this early season: Carmel, Noblesville, and Carroll. And this is going to be the 4th one. There's only been 7 games this season, but some great teams have played here. South Bend, Washington is rated as the highest. They were the preseason #1 team, regardless of class. And it's going to be a really fun matchup tonight.
Pretty empty stands for a weekday game. If this game were on a Friday night or a Saturday, you could expect a whole lot of people to be here rummaging up the stands of Spartan Arena for a huge showdown such as this one. But it's a weekday game, pretty low-profile team. You can't really expect much. We're going to start the OPS pregame show by looking at some of those big home games Homestead has had so far this year. The first game was the season opener versus Carroll, where Homestead swept the floor with the Greyhounds.
And it was really just a redemption game, as Ayanna Patterson called it herself. Last year they lost by 34 points, and this year they get the huge 32-point win. But they've also faced Noblesville, where Ashlyn Shade was so dominant. She's a top 5 player in the junior class and the best in the state of Indiana. And then most recently, Friday, getting a huge win over rival Carroll by 20 points. But when you have a high-profile player like Ayanna Patterson, you have to up your schedule to showcase her to other markets around the state. Unfortunately for Homestead so far, there have been a lot of home games.
And they've got a lot of other big home games coming up. They have Notre Dame Academy coming to Homestead High School this Saturday. One of Homestead's only losses last year was in Ohio at Notre Dame Academy. So another big team from the state of Ohio coming to Homestead High School. Then, of course, the doubleheader before Christmas, Fishers and Hamilton Southeastern, 2 high-profile Indy schools coming up to Homestead. Then, of course, the new year kicking off, Lawrence North and Snyder. Lawrence North, a good program that you can always expect to be good, and Snyder, possibly Homestead's biggest threat to the SAC title. Now let's focus on Mila, on the big game today, starting by looking at this juggernaut of a team that South Bend, Washington has. 3 sisters, Mila, Amaya, and Kyra Reynolds, have just been monsters on the court this year.
And if you look at their stats, they've been so good. They're averaging over 40 points per game combined and over 20 rebounds. These 3 are just so good. The older 2, Amaya and Mila, both committed to Maryland already. And Mila is the leader of this team, 24.2 points per game. But the freshman, Kira, 6'3", as a freshman, 5.1 blocks per game. They've got a lot of potential and a lot of stars on this team.
Kira Reynolds with 5.1 blocks per game could be a really big threat to Ayanna Patterson in the paint, who hasn't really faced much adversity so far this year. The older sister, Mila, has made a strong case for herself to be in the Miss Basketball race this year with her 24.2 points per game, as well as leading her team to a #1 ranking in the Class of 3A and #1 in the Sagarin rankings. We've talked a lot about Ayanna Patterson winning Miss Basketball so far this year, and this game tonight could determine who should be the frontrunner for the Miss Basketball Award.
And both Patterson and Reynolds are going to try to make their case tonight, and it is going to be fun to watch these 2 battle. Reynolds could be the first person who could contain Patterson on the defensive end and score efficiently against her. She's really the only player that is matched up Just looking at the stats, Ayanna Patterson averaging a double-double, 24.6 points per game and 10 rebounds. And on the other side, Mila Reynolds, 24.6, 8.9 rebounds. And she's averaging more blocks than Ayanna Patterson. Ayanna Patterson, she's so well known for her defense and leading Homestead all-time in blocks already.
You look at those stats side by side, they just look incredible when you think about it. These two have put on a show so far this year, and both of them as seniors, you can expect them to be the top running in the conversation for Miss Basketball. But tonight, those two one-on-one might be the true determining factor when it comes to the end of the season. And both of these teams are some of the best in the state according to the best and most reliable computer-based rankings, the Sagarin rankings.
And right there you see at number 1, South Bend, Washington, and they are the only 3A team in the top 17. From spots 2 to 17, they are all 4A teams, and that just shows you how good South Bend, Washington has been all year. In Homestead, they're number 6, so we've got 2 top 6 teams according to Jeff Sagarin's ratings here. That first there is just who has the highest rating, and then the schedule, strength of schedule. South Bend, Washington has the 24th hardest schedule, record so far, and Homestead is 11th. So either way, both will be going up if they get a win tonight. And then another important one versus top 25, South Bend, Washington. Their one loss coming to number 5, North Central. They did not want to lose that way. Only lost by 6 points to the Indy school. And then Homestead is 1-1 against top 25 teams.
You see, the team Homestead lost to brutally earlier in the season. Noblesville ranked number 2 in the Sagarin ratings. So just to think about how South Bend, Washington is ranked ahead of the team that completely dismantled the Lady Spartans is just incredible to think about. And now we're going to take a look at our keys to the game, starting with Noah. If Homestead wants to stay in the game offensively, they need to learn from their mistakes against Noblesville's full court press, because South Bend, Washington is even more athletic and has even more length than Noblesville.
And if you can beat a full court trap, it is possible to get a lot of easy layups. But if they run their offense, they should be able to find their shooters open looks on the wings. They just need to make sure they're knocking them down tonight. Allie Stevens and Molly Stock are going to be really huge for the Spartans to be close in this one. They've been inconsistent, but Molly Stock has had 2 straight good games, but they've really struggled against the press. We saw Noblesville and Carmel both run it more effectively for Noblesville as Ashlyn Shade just destroyed this offense.
It's going to be essential for Homestead to beat that full court press because they got to get some open looks from outside. It's going to be difficult for them to win on the inside, down low in the paint, with these 2 6'3" and 2 other above 6 foot players on the roster for South Bend, Washington. And now for the Panthers, you have to control Ayanna Patterson down low. We've seen a lot of other teams try that to no avail. The true key to beating Homestead, though, is to limit Allie Stevens and Molly Stock's open looks.
And to go along with that, it is all about getting Allie and Molly off their timing. Both shooters are dead-eye from 3 when they're wide open and set, but when they're running from those shots, that's when they see their shots go off mark, which is what the Panthers are going to look to do tonight. When they're wide open, which they have been left open too many times this year, they capitalize most of the time. Molly Stock right now has a 46% three-point percentage. Allie Stevens is down at 38, but before that Noblesville game, it was at 50%.
And it's going to be really essential. South Bend, Washington, they have to get Homestead off their rhythm, get them in a little bit of discomfort. But even then, we've talked a lot about Allie Stevens, Molly Stock. Those are the big shooters for Homestead. But another name has sort of risen out of kind of nowhere. Emma Royce is shooting 45% from 3, and she really got to showcase her talents last week against Carroll when she had a lot of open looks. She only had 7 points, but knocked down 2 threes. They were 2 pretty big threes.
And she has not had as many shots as others, but she's been really good when she makes them.
And now we're going to send it down to Jenna Lane, who's standing by with Coach Parker. Jenna?
Thanks, Anthony. Coach, tonight features what is possibly one of the most athletic teams in the state. You can expect South Bend, Washington to push the tempo tonight, but what can the Spartans do to combat that and play more to your style?
Well, we're going to have to have their pressure because they are going to pressure us quite often. And then secondly, we're going to have to rebound the basketball very well. They're a very good rebounding team, especially on their offensive glass. And if we can prevent them from getting easy baskets and getting into their pressure, it'll help us get into our offense on the opposite of the floor.
All right, thank you. Anthony, back to you.
Thank you, Jenna. And Coach brought up exactly what we talked about they're going to face a lot of pressure underneath the basket. It's going to put Homestead in some uncomfortable situations, so it's going to be all about managing that. That'll bring us to a break here on the OPS pregame show. When we come back, we will give you the starting lineups, and we'll find out whether or not Ayanna Patterson will keep her tip-off streak alive. You're watching Homestead High School Hoops on Homestead Live.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Welcome back to Homestead High School as we take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's game.
For the Panthers, South Bend, Washington, they've got 3 guards. The first, Amaya Reynolds, the 6-foot Maryland commit. Rashonda Jones, who's a 3-star on ESPN and already over 1,000-point scorer. Raya Wilson, who's only a freshman, a 5'6" guard. And then the 2 other Reynolds sisters, Kira, a 6'3" freshman, and the star, Mila, 6'3", Maryland signee.
And now your Homestead High School Spartan starters. As the music gears up, the handshakes go. Emma Royst comes out of the chute. Handshake with Evie Bottoms. She's going to be essential tonight, playing defense on the ball. And the other guard playing defense aggressively tonight, Molly Stock, the sharpshooter from 3. The other sharpshooter, Allie Stevens, number 22, gets her handshake with Evie Bottoms. Maggie Kingsley, the senior captain, all smiles on her face before the intense matchup tonight. And the Miss Basketball candidate, UConn signee, stone cold, serious face, Ayanna Patterson. Big game tonight. Both teams will need to stay focused. Number 1 in Sagarin ratings versus number 6. Can't get any better than this. The officials for tonight's game are Alex Childers, Jeff Lytle, and Justin Shippey, with Justin Shippey being the main referee tonight. A very familiar name in the state of Indiana basketball, has reffed many state champions, and now we turn our attention to mid-court, where a very, very important thing, subtly important thing might be taking place. Ayanna Patterson has not lost a single tip ball, but is facing up against Mila Reynolds, Miss Basketball to Miss Basketball. And Ayanna Patterson keeps the streak alive with a win on the tip. Aggressive defense showing already for South Bend, Washington, and a 3, no good for Maggie Kingsley, and an early dangerous foul called on Ayanna Patterson. Not the time to get a foul already. One foul, the most essential player for Homestead. Already looking at a little bit of foul trouble early on.
And she cannot get into foul trouble tonight. She is going to be the main leader for this team.
And another foul on the floor called on Ayanna Patterson. We are not even 30 seconds into the basketball game, and she has 2 fouls. South Bend, Washington, 24 seconds into the basketball game, has already taken Ayanna Patterson out and to the bench.
And that is crazy that she's already picked up 2 fouls in just 24 seconds. She is so crucial to this team all around, and Sydney Freem is now going to really need to step up in her absence.
It's going to be huge. These side pieces stepping up as Maggie Kingsley underneath the basket takes a high shot, bouncing off the back of the rim and in. Drive inside for Rashonda Jones. Gets the foul called on Molly Stock. Look at this very risky shot by Maggie Kingsley, but gets it to go. Homestead with an early 2-0 lead.
And she's the only other senior on this team other than Patterson. She's definitely going to be the leader with Patterson not on the court.
Deep 3 for Mila Reynolds, and she gets it. 1 point lead for South Bend, Washington, and the Panthers showing a press. Stock over to Sydney Freem, down low to Emma Royce, layup no good, rebounded by the older Reynolds. Mila in the face, 3-point shot, no good, rebounded by Stock. Homestead trying to go in quick transition. Sydney Freem underneath the basket, no foul called, no shot in. Maya Reynolds drives inside, she can't get it. Ball playing, thrown around. A little bit of hack-a-sack as the Panthers take a 3-point lead. Royce to Maggie Kingsley, open 3, and she makes it. Missed the first one early in the game, makes the second. Going into this game, only a 16% 3-point shooter, but already with all 5 of Homestead's points.
And we're already seeing such a quick-paced game, as after breaking that press, Maggie Kingsley gets the open look for 3, and that's going to be really important for Homestead, knocking down those open looks when they can. Maggie Kingsley, that's already her second one, but she gets this one to go.
Homestead already looking strong against the press, and Maggie Kingsley does a great job of picking up the foul on Mila Reynolds, her first of the night. Homestead tied. So far, Maggie Kingsley has been the one to step up without Ayanna Patterson in the game.
And right now, Coach Parker is going to have to figure out when he wants to bring in Patterson again with 2 fouls so early.
Deep 3, no good for Allie Stevens. She'll be essential tonight in making those open 3s. Amaya Jones takes the look, doesn't take it, and a deep 3, no good. And rebounded and collected by Sydney Freem, who's in place for Ayanna Patterson. Open 3 again for Maggie Kingsley. No good, and the rebound can't be grabbed by Stevens. Jones in transition. Tosses it back to Amaya Reynolds, who airballs a 3. Very unclean basketball. A lot more turnovers than we were expecting out of the 2 high-profile teams.
And it's been a really quick-paced game, and Homestead's done pretty well to break that press so far, and they've gotten good open layup looks. They just haven't been able to convert too much.
Stock will be looking to get as many open shots as she can, but Rashonda Jones is playing aggressive defense, and a turnover caused by Rashonda Jones on that very close defense on Molly Stock. Amaya Reynolds, fresh junior, committed to Maryland, along with her older sister. Drives inside, puts up the shot, can't get the foul, rebounded by Royce, Homestead's second most leading rebounder. Stock to the corner with Stevens underneath to Freem. She tries to work the paint, banks it in. Sydney Freem gets to go in the face of Mila Reynolds.
And a great job by Allie Stevens to get it down low to Freem there. And no one looked like they wanted to stop her, so she just took the easy shot and able to convert on it.
South Bend, Washington wearing the blackout jerseys. tonight. Original colors green. Look at this great smart play by Sydney Freem. Sees Mila Reynolds let up on the pressure and takes the open shot.
And you know that South Bend Washington's going to be so aggressive on defense. If you just get a pump fake or two, you might get an open shot.
That was Maggie Kinsley's first foul. 5 points for Homestead. South Bend Washington keeps possession, and a steal by Emma Royce, Homestead's most aggressive defender. Molly Stock pump fake three, step back, shot, no good, rebounded by Stevens. Stevens drives inside, off the glass, and in. Homestead with a 4-point lead. Older Reynolds from the left wing, and it's good. Mila Reynolds, the 6'3" forward, makes the shot. Allie Stevens drives inside, layup no good, and rebounded collected by Amaya Reynolds. Wide open three, Mila no good, and rebounded again by Allie Stevens. Pass stolen away by Rashonda Jones, a little slow from Freem to Kingsley. Drive inside for Mila Reynolds. Gets the shot to go, and South Bend Washington takes a 10-9 lead on a quick 5-0 run.
And Mila Reynolds is looking really good to start this game. She's 2 for 4 from 3, and right there she missed the original shot where Emma Royce did a great job to stop her. But Emma Royce, only being 5'9", trying to match up against Mila Reynolds, a 6'3" forward, is not going to go the Spartans' way. Mila Reynolds just too tall and able to finish under some tough contact.
We'll see when Ayanna Patterson comes back into the game. She has 2 fouls in the first 24 seconds. We can't really talk about how crazy that is. Homestead's best player taken out of the game after only 24 seconds of play.
And it's just a huge loss. It's something that you never want to see your star player have 2 fouls already. And she's going to need to try to be more careful when she comes back in and just be as effective as she can while she is in.
Evie Bottoms into the game for the Spartans, putting in at even more of a height disadvantage with Sydney Freem out. Molly Stopp takes the pump fake in the corner, tries to get it down low to Maggie Kingsley, and it's swatted out of bounds by Kira Reynolds.
Still running a zone press and zone defense for South Bend Washington. As you see, Ayanna Patterson right there sitting on the bench. She can't do anything about it, just has to sit there and watch, and you know that's got to be killing her. Being a UConn signee, one of the best players in the country, not going to be able to make her case as easily for Miss Basketball.
Unclaimed pass, turnover from Kingsley to Stevens. South Bend Washington in transition, they slow down the pace. Mila Reynolds out of the game. You see her on the left side of your screen, sitting down in front of the check-in bench. It's a pump fake. No good. Drive inside, and they're going to call a charging foul. Oh, blocking foul away from the ball on Raya Wilson. Crowd chanting in favor of South Bend Washington. A lot of pass work underneath the basket, and good for Maggie Kinsley. 7 points on the night for Kinsley already, as a quick jump shot three goes for Monique Mitchell. Just recently into the game. South Bend Washington with the 2-point lead. Stock fakes the pass inside. Spartans continuing to work the ball. Wide open three, Molly Stoff it. It's off the mark.
She's going to have to hit those if Homestead wants to stay in this game, just because of how fast-paced it is and how quickly South Bend Washington can score.
Another three for Monique Mitchell from the left corner, as South Bend Washington continuing to expand upon their lead.
And Monique Mitchell coming into this game was shooting 10% from 3, and she's already 2 for 2. That's a problem if you're the Spartans defense.
Look at this. The ball, Emma Royce can't get a hand on it. We talk about her as Homestead's most aggressive defender, just barely missing her hand on the ball, and then missing the ball again on the offensive side for the over and back in favor of the Panthers. Down low, One-on-one, ISO, no good. Great defense by Maggie Keensley on Mila Reynolds. Royce from the corner, three-pointer good. Pre-game show, we talked about Emma Royston. There she is from beyond the arc. And pass out of bounds. Emma Royston again defensively helping make the stop. Look at this great passing by the Spartans, finding Royce wide open in the corner for the easy bucket.
With the Panthers running a zone defense, you know you're going to have a lot of open shots if you can just find the open player, and that's what they did there. Royce looked good in pregame. She's shooting 45% from three. Even though it's a small sample size, she's really good, and you don't want to leave her open.
Emma Royce taking the open shots when she can. Stevens down low in the paint, gets fouled very obviously. They're going to call it on Maya Reynolds, the junior of the Reynolds sisters.
And Allie Stevens, she has not been shooting well as of late on the season. She's 57% from the free throw line, but these could be really important just for her to see the ball go through the hoop as a jump shot rather than a layup or anything else, which she already has 2 points before that free throw.
5 rebounds for Allie Stevens so far in the game as she goes 1 for 2 from the line. Homestead down 1 to South Bend, Washington. Very high scoring first quarter with this very fast speed of play. Mila, ISO, underneath, no good. Shot collected, another rebound for Allie Stevens, and a turnover from Evie Bottoms to Emma Royce. 2 of the more inexperienced players. Crossover shot, no good. Offensive board, and it goes in for Monique Mitchell. 8 points for her tonight. And a steal for Mitchell on the defensive side. 15 seconds left. Running up pace, Mitchell for double digits, shot no good. Rebounded by Bottoms. Long 2 for Molly Stock, no good. And now a chance for Rashonda Jones to get a shot at the last second, no good. And we go to the end of the first quarter with a South Bend, Washington 18-15 lead. Homestead has to find an answer without Ayanna Patterson as she will continue to stay on the bench. Welcome back to Homestead High School. We've got a lot to talk about from the first quarter, starting with the first 24 seconds. Ayanna Patterson taken out of the game early with 2 fouls.
And it looks like with her back on the bench, she may come in to start this second quarter with Sydney Freen now standing up in the huddle and Ayanna Patterson walking back onto the court. But they've done a great job to keep this at only a 3-point game. And it's going to be a high-scoring, fast-paced game. We've already seen it. There's not much defense being played, and turnovers have been more offensive side as teams have just been throwing it away rather than making a good play on the defensive end.
Ayanna Patterson back in the game. This could be a whole new game script with the 6'3" wing back in, a lot more underneath the basket oriented instead of taking 8 3-point shots in 1 quarter. South Bend, Washington starting with the basketball. Emma Royce so far has done an amazing job of closing down, locking away Amaya Reynolds in this ball game. Maya Reynolds underneath, finding wide open. Monique Mitchell, shot no good, and welcome back Ayanna Patterson as she collects the rebound. Homestead underneath, and a blocking foul called very, very risky. Her second foul for Mila Reynolds. Very risky by Ayanna Patterson to bulldoze into the basket like that.
She's definitely got to be careful when she's going to be charging into the paint on fast breaks. You know she loves to attack the rim, and right there, got lucky that it didn't go as a charge. She'd have to go straight back to the bench if it was.
Evie Bottoms in the corner, down low to tonight's leading scorer for Homestead, Maggie Kingsley, who can't get a good look underneath the basket. Quick jump shot, no good for Mila. And this offensive board, another offensive board, and it goes in. Shot no good for Mila Reynolds. Rebounded, shot no good for Amaya Reynolds, and the putback for Kira Reynolds. That's the trio we've all been hoping for tonight. The sisters get the job done.
And they're everywhere on the court just because there's 3 of them, and they're all so good. Their dad's the coach too, but they're looking really solid. When one's not making it, another is.
Delivery outside to Molly Stock in the corner for 3. The sharpshooter from beyond the arc gets the shot to go. Mila working underneath the basket with a beautiful fadeaway jump shot to give South Bend Washington the 2-possession lead. That is her 10th point already tonight.
And she's just so tough to guard. She's 6'3", and she can shoot. She's been pulling up. She's made 2 threes already, and she's just going to be a problem all night for the Spartans.
Maggie Kingsley down low, swatted away by Monique Mitchell. And off the knee of Ayanna Patterson, playing so aggressive. Look at this beautiful pass. Great read by Patterson, getting it outside their sharp-shooting counterpart, Molly Stock.
And right now, you don't know what Coach Parker told Ayanna Patterson coming back in this game, but she is not playing like she has 2 fouls. She's playing so aggressive like she normally would. And you wonder if they're just wanting her to play as long as she can, and if she picks up a foul, she'll just come off.
Ayanna Patterson looks mad out there on the basketball court as another fadeaway jumper wide open from the free throw line goes down for Mila Reynolds. Freem doesn't take the open 3. Down low to Patterson, almost stolen away. And this time it is Royce unable to get the ball down low to Patterson. Panthers with a chance to extend upon their lead.
And that's one of the problems when you have Patterson in the game. You want her to get the ball down low because she's so good, but there's 2 Panthers on her. You can't force it every single time like that.
Wide open lane layup goes down for Rashonda Jones. South Bend Washington on a run even with Ayanna Patterson in the game. Sydney Freem, open shot, doesn't take it. Stevens drives inside, checks back and gets it back out to Stock, guarded closely by Rashonda Jones. Stevens, pass to Patterson, stolen away by Kira Reynolds. Now to Amaya Reynolds, and now to Monique Mitchell. Shot no good, rebounded by Freem. And a timeout taken by Coach Parker as he's got to figure something out on the offensive side. Too many turnovers for the Spartans. Look at this beautiful, beautiful layup off the fingertips in double coverage by Rashonda Jones.
And Jones, she's just a really great role player, but if she's on a different team, she wouldn't even be a role player. On this team, you say she's probably the 4th best player, but she's already scored over 1,000 points, and she's only a junior. She's a 3-star with 12-plus D1 offers, including Pitt, MSU, Michigan, Marquette, and Dayton. She also averages 4.7 steals per game. She's just a really great addition to the Reynolds sisters.
And one school you didn't say, she's got a lot of great offers. One school you didn't say is Maryland, and that seems to be the theme of this South Bend Washington team. Who knows? With her incredible performance so far tonight, she may be getting a Maryland offer to go play along the Reynolds trio.
She averages 14.9 points per game. It's the 2nd highest on the team.
No press for South Bend Washington coming out of the timeout. Patterson behind the arc. We haven't seen her take too many threes so far this year. Don't expect many tonight. Stock down low to Patterson in the post, gets fouled on the shot. And that one is going to go on Kira Reynolds. Her first foul tonight. Anna Patterson with a chance to get her first points of the game. And she gets it in. 1 point, 19 to go to continue her streak of 20-point games alive.
And nearly 12 minutes into this game, Ayanna Patterson scores her first points of the game. I don't think you would ever expect to hear that.
And the ball goes out of bounds. Amaya Reynolds can't collect the ball. We got a really quick look at some point graphics we'll go back to later in the game. Down low to Sydney Freem. No good. Shot collected by Patterson, and she gets fouled hard and falls to the ground. Everyone holds her breath as she gets on her feet. Scary, scary stuff at Homestead High School.
She's the last player that you want to see going down. A really awkward play. Player fell onto her head, but just happy to see her get up.
That's not the first time we've had a scary moment as she misses another free throw. Fell down last game against Carroll, took a second to get up, but did. The second free throw rattles in. 2 for 4 from the line tonight, 2 points for Patterson. Coach Barker calling for Molly Stock to lay off on the aggression. South Bend Washington looking tired on the basketball court. Homestead with all the momentum, at least defensively.
And after a long time of playing against the zone, Coach Parker brings it out himself, wants to just see if he can have that to stop the offense of the Panthers.
And the bench is loving it for Homestead, and they don't love that pass. Rocket way too hard of a shot from Patterson to stop. She takes the blame. You can see the disappointment in her face, taps her chest saying, my bad, my bad. This possession goes back to the Lady Panthers. Referees blow it dead. So Ryan Wilson hadn't yet made it back to the bench. My Reynolds down low to her sister, the triad of the Reynolds. Get the job done. 8-point South Bend Washington lead.
And you just see the chemistry between the two of them right there. Great pass by the younger of the two, Kira Reynolds, to find her sister down low.
Stolen away by Rashonda Jones and swatted again by Allie Stevens. Possession stays with South Bend Washington as Evie Bottoms comes into the game for Molly Stock. A little bit of surprising of a substitution, taking the best three-point shooter for the Homestead Spartans out of a game in a time where 3 points are needed. Ball swinging around the outside of the perimeter. This zone working so well so far for Homestead. 0 points for South Bend Washington since the zone has been put in place. And now the bench for the Spartans starts to clap.
And South Bend Washington really hasn't been able to do anything on offense as they have another turnover now. But that zone is looking really good, as you mentioned, Anthony. They have had 28 points for a little bit of time now, but Homestead on their offensive side haven't scored too much recently either.
Stevens needs to get the ball out. Got it away. Homestead's best three-point shooter and probably fastest player not currently in the game. We'll see how this affects their offense as Royce getting handled. Patterson, triple guarded, doesn't matter, lays it in, beautiful for the UConn signee, number 4 in the country, according to ESPN. And Mila Reynolds says, enough talking, Anthony. I'm going to knock down a 3 myself.
The number 60 player in the class this year, showing up her 3rd 3 of the game. Right now, the Spartans have no answer for her.
South Bend Washington giving Sydney Freem as much room as they can to take a 3, knowing she probably won't take it. As Emma Royce drives inside, floater into the basket, nothing but net. Homestead showing life on offense.
And Royce needs to really step up on the offensive end and be more aggressive. She's shooting 57% from the field this year. She just doesn't shoot it that much.
Mila Reynolds, deep three, no good. She wanted a foul called on Evie Bottoms, but won't get it. Allie Stevens, deep three, takes a spin, a bank, and it goes in the basket. 4-point game, Homestead knocking on the door, the bench standing up, the few fans in attendance are excited. It's getting loud in Spartan Arena. No foul called as the crowd goes silent with the refs and an unclean pass. The defense is on fire for the Spartans.
And they're getting pumped up as you see Allie Stevens rat-a-tat-tat off the backboard and in. She loves to see it go in. It's a great sign if she can start making shots. And right now the momentum is all Homestead.
Ayanna Patterson coming back in the game has been a game changer. Only 4 points, but 3 crucial rebounds. Ginsley, pump fake. Stevens drives inside, almost gets it stolen away. Royce keeps possession. Ginsley, ISO, gets blocked by Mila Reynolds. Mila in the corner, in the face of Patterson, air ball, and possession goes back with the Lady Spartans.
Right now you have 33.6 seconds left. If you're Coach Parker, you probably want to hold it here and try to go into the locker room only down 1 possession. You've got to be happy if you are.
And Coach Parker says, no way, we're going to give it to the sophomore. We're going to give it to the 46% three-point shooter in Emma Royce. And Rashonda Jones takes no time for South Bend, Washington, making the answer. Still a 4-point lead for South Bend, Washington. Evie Bottoms, quick transition to Patterson, back out to Bottoms. No good, rebounded by Kinsley. Allie Stevens, three-pointer for Allie Stevens as the clock expires at the end of the half. Homestead has the energy, and we've got a good one at Spartan Arena.
We've got a ball game right here. It is a 1-point game. Ayanna Patterson coming back when the Spartans were down 8. Now it's only a 1-point game. You got to stay tuned for the second half.
We're going to send it down to sideline reporter Jenna Lane, who's standing by with a likely happy Coach Parker.
Thanks, Anthony. I'm here with Coach Parker. And Coach, you're only trailing by 1 point right now. And with Ayanna Patterson going out in the first 30 seconds with foul trouble, it put your team in a bind. So what do you need to do to get back in it in the second half?
Well, I was happy with the second quarter that we played right there, but we're going to have to do a very good job getting back on defense, a little bit better than we did the first half. I thought we rebounded pretty well, but we got to get back and challenge shots. And offensively, we've got to keep the thing moving. If we keep the basketball moving, I think we'll get some good shots.
All right, thanks and good luck in the second half. Anthony, back to you.
It's all about movement. It's all about rebounding and controlling the basketball, and both teams have done their fair share. At the end of 16 minutes, South Bend, Washington, 1-point lead over the Homestead Spartans.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
This is the OPS Halftime Report.
Welcome back to Homestead High School. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with the mics, but don't worry about it as we have a really good basketball game. That's what we should all be focusing on right now. And Noah, let's talk about that first half. It was everything that we hoped for when we have two of these top teams facing off against each other. 1 point game lead for South Bend, Washington. But really, it's all been about Homestead's players stepping up without Ayanna Patterson. Patterson, only 4 points, playing only 4 minutes of that first half. Who for Homestead really stepped up in your eyes?
To me, it was Maggie Kinsley to start the game. She got 7 early points for the Spartans in that first quarter. But then to go into the half, Allie Stevens being the energizer of the Spartans, making 2 big threes, one rattling around and then swish going right into halftime. And Emma Royce now has a new career high with 8 points in the first half. Those three have really stepped up, with Patterson getting 2 fouls in the first 14 seconds of the game.
And it's always been about the 3-point shot for the Homestead Spartans, getting them energized, getting them back into the basketball game, and that's been what's going on. Emma Royce, 2 for 2 from 3. We kind of called, I don't want to brag a little bit, we called it in the pregame show saying watch out for her from beyond the arc, being a 45% three-point shooter coming into the game, getting a chance to showcase her talents against Carroll. And boy, she's showing it in the biggest game of the year.
In pregame, she looked really good. She was making a lot of threes, getting into a rhythm. It seemed like she wanted to play well today, and she has so far. You take a look at the team's stats here. Homestead shooting 48% just from the field, better than the Panthers, who's only at 42, and 50% from 3 for the Spartans. South Bend, Washington only has 1 more miss, and it has the same amount of makes. But right now it's only a 1-point game. Turnovers, though, Coach Parker's got to be mad about that. That's the one thing going into half. You didn't have Ayanna Patterson a lot in that first half, but turnovers is where you can improve on. 10 in the first half when you only average 13 a game is a problem.
And I'll tell you what, when you look at both of these rosters for both Homestead and South Bend, Washington, you think, okay, South Bend, Washington's going to out-rebound Homestead by a lot. And it's a fair thing to say. They've got 2 girls that are 6'3", a 6-footer, and yet somehow Homestead has out-rebounded South Bend, Washington by 3. Just amazing effort out of Allie Stevens, who just alone for Homestead has 6 rebounds. Her career high heading into this game for rebounds, 6. And it's only at the end of the first half. Incredible job from Allie Stevens and everyone else stepping up without the presence of Ayanna Patterson being in the lineup.
And you mentioned that height difference. With Ayanna Patterson out, Allie Stevens is the tallest player for Homestead at 5'11", not even a player over 6 feet tall. And most of the time for South Bend, Washington, they have 3 players 6 feet or taller. It's a really impressive stat, seeing that Homestead is out-rebounding South Bend, Washington 16-13, and it's showing how much hard work they're putting into this game, how much it really means to them.
And we're going to take a look at some of our SAC headlines, a couple of them repeating from last week. Ajani Washington and senior Aiden Lambert, both 40 points last week for both Concordia and Snyder. Incredible job for both of them for the boys' basketball season starting.
And it's really impressive to see a player have 40 points. We saw that twice last year. Ayanna Patterson had 43 in a game, and Luke Goody did also eclipse the 40-point mark, but only a sophomore, Ajani Washington versus Leo, a huge start to his season. Same with Aiden Lambert. They've only had 1 game, the Snyder Panthers have, but they are going to be good this year, and it'll be fun to see them come here January 14th.
And the Snyder girls basketball team got their second top 5 victory of the year, knocking off number 5 Fishers last Saturday, only a week after knocking off number 3 North Central.
And North Central is the one team that have beaten the South Bend Washington Panthers. That is important here, especially coming into this one. It means that Snyder coming here also January 14th along with the boys team is going to be a fun matchup, but 2 early wins really helps you out against top 5 teams, and it just shows how good you could potentially be.
That day, mark your calendars. Revenge game for the boys team and a possible SAC decider for the girls team. January 14th might be the best Homestead Live broadcast of the year. And our last headline, 2 SAC schools competed in the Sneakers for Santa competition. Northside loss versus Hammond Central, 64-48. Not a good start to the season for the Legends. And then Homestead getting the big victory over Carmel. Big revenge game from regionals last year. Got their vengeance, and they're on their revenge tour.
And that score was really 48-37. But Fletcher Lawyer having a huge game, over 30 points in that one. Just a great job by him to step up. And Northside, unfortunately, losing. But Homestead, it's just a revenge game for them, and it's a great sign.
It was all about the revenge for the Spartans. This is their revenge tour last year, 25-1 with a loss in regionals. And they have their eyes on the state title this year. Another two other teams with the eyes on their state title, Homestead and South Bend, Washington. When we come back, it is the second half of this remarkable game.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Welcome back to Homestead High School Spartan Arena, as we have a 1-point game about to start the second half. 16 minutes of play will determine who the better team is, will determine which person should be in the running for Miss Basketball, Ayanna Patterson or Mila Reynolds.
And right now, that first quarter was so hard playing. A lot of fouls called. Ayanna Patterson picked up 2. She didn't pick up 1 in that quarter at all. Nobody did for Homestead. And on the other side, Mila Reynolds also has 2 fouls. That's something to watch for this half.
Homestead passing the ball a lot to start the second half, just trying to get an open shot. Patterson down low, ISO ball, dishes it out to Stock, who doesn't want to take it. No shot clock in the state of Indiana. Homestead can run down the clock as much as they want. Pass stolen away on the transaction between Kinsley and Patterson. Driving inside and one for Rashonda Jones. A chance to make this a 2-possession lead for the South Bend Washington Panthers.
And that is not at all how you want to start the half if you're the Spartans. A long possession which results in a turnover, a bad pass by Maggie Kinsley. And then on the other end, a transition and one by Rashonda Jones.
Shot no good, collected by Patterson, her 4th rebound. Still a 1-possession game, 3 points between the two schools. Stevens has to get the ball out and gets it. Royce doesn't take the 3. 1-on-1. Dish out. Kinsley doesn't take the shot. Deep shot blocked. But possession gained by Allie Stevens. Amaya Reynolds showing her hops. And that foul is going to be on Rashonda Jones. A girl you don't want to be in foul trouble if you're Coach Reynolds. Patterson takes the ISO and it goes in. The bucket counts. 1-point lead for South Bend, Washington. Deep 3 for Mila Reynolds, no good, rebounded by Patterson. She's playing harsh defense against Patterson so far. She's showing off, gets a chance to show off her dribbling talents. Down low, inside, beautiful assist. And the Homestead Spartans have a lead for the first time since they were up 2-0.
What a great job by Ayanna Patterson right there to break the press behind the back when she's crossing half court and find Emma Royce for the easy 2. Royce is now up to 10 points in this one, the leading scorer for Homestead.
Emma Royce, all credit to her having an incredible game in an incredible atmosphere in an incredible moment of the season. Down low, Reynolds. We've seen that combination a lot as Rashonda Jones barely contacts the rim on her 3-point shot. Homestead looking to extend. Allie Stevens for 3, no good, rebounded by Kinsley, and she's swatted by Kira Reynolds. Kira drives inside, and Kinsley gets the payback, swatting it away. Stock slows down pace and passes the ball around. No shot from Kinsley in the corner. Now a wide open pass and lazy defense picked apart by Emma Royce, forcing a timeout call by Coach Steve Reynolds. Homestead with a 3-point lead. 3 minutes in to the third quarter.
And the Panthers do not look like they know what they're doing right here. Look at Emma Royce on the right side of your screen, wide open. Nobody even tries to help over and get a block, and she gets the easy 2 for the second possession in row. She's at 12 points now, and it just looked like a little bit of laziness by Mila Reynolds on getting back down on the court. Homestead didn't push the pace as much as they should have, but either way, they were able to find the easy 2.
And I'll tell you what, it looked like towards the end of the second quarter that South Bend Washington was running low on steam and that they needed a rest. They looked tired on the basketball court when Homestead was making their comeback, and already in the third quarter, they're looking tired. They're not looking quick, and this could be detrimental going against this scrappy and quick Spartan team. Lady Spartans taking the court with a 3-point lead and all momentum they need, building off that momentum from the second quarter. Emma Royce, 12 points. Allie Stevens, 9. Maggie Kingsley, 7. Patterson, 6. Stock, 3. Very, very balanced attack from the Spartans so far this game.
And it's not often you see Ayanna Patterson as your 4th leading scorer. She's been the leading scorer in every single game this season, but her teammates are stepping up, and it's a great defensive play by her there.
Ayanna Patterson being careful not to pick up the foul, forcing the ball out of bounds by Mila Reynolds, and it's plays like that that separates Ayanna Patterson from the rest of the field in the state of Indiana. Stock barely gets the pass out to Patterson, but Homestead keeping possession. Kinsley trapped at the top of the key, gets it away. Patterson with the 3-ball. Ayanna Patterson makes a 3-point shot. She can do it all.
And she's shooting 50% on the 3-point percentage coming into this game. Only 1 of 2, but a huge 3 from her. You're going to leave her open. You're going to get punished.
We said earlier in the game that she wouldn't be taking many threes. We were wrong. Wide open 3 for Monique Mitchell. Shot no good. Homestead with a chance to build off the lead. Royce, the leading scorer, doesn't make a shot. Patterson down low, loses the basketball. And Monique Mitchell forces it. Pass out to the corner, wide open. Ayanna Patterson, no hesitation as the ball spins around into the basket.
And if she can add that to her game, she's going to be unstoppable. She just needs a jump shot that is a little bit more consistent. We see Mila Reynolds on the other side, another 6'3" player, and she's made 3 threes in this game, but she's gone cold ever since then.
Homestead on a 9-2 run in the second half. Looking to build. No shot, no good for Kira Reynolds. Homestead in total control. Patterson down low, dishes it out to Emma Royce. She's on fire. 3 for 3 from 3 with 15. The crowd's going crazy, and a missed shot should shut them up. No, and 1 for Mila Reynolds. South Bend Washington is refusing to leave this game.
Answering right back after a huge 3 right there by Emma Royce, her 3rd of the game, no hesitation. We talked about her earlier. So you take a look at Mila Reynolds' stats real quick. 8 for 16, 50% on the night, 19 points already and 4 rebounds. And with that, she's at 20. But Emma Royce, we said she needed to be more aggressive in shooting. She shoots well. She just doesn't shoot often. And tonight, she's doing it both.
Emma Royce with the hot hand. As South Bend Washington getting a lot more aggressive on defense. Ayanna Patterson keeps control. Emma Royce underneath the basket, can't be managed by Maggie Kinsley. Look at this. Beautiful pass out. Emma Royce will just take the shot if she has it. Not a very confident shooter, doesn't shoot the ball often, but after tonight, you've got to be thinking that she might be the next reincarnation of Allie Stevens, taking any shot whenever she wants. Shot no good for Amaya Reynolds, and a foul underneath the basket on Raya Wilson. Her second foul of the night. She's had a pretty quiet night coming into the game, averaging 9.7 points. It hasn't done much so far.
And a really key part for this Homestead defense today has been limiting the options other than Mila Reynolds. Mila Reynolds has 20 points so far, but other than Rashonda Jones, nobody else has really been stepping up. Monique Mitchell also has had a big game, but a lot of players have been silenced.
And Emma Royce gathers the rebound. Mid-range jumper, no good. Collects her own rebound, Maggie Kinsley. Underneath, Patterson double guarded, no foul called, and now a foul called on the putback shot. She's headed to the line to expand upon her 9 points.
And that right there is what Patterson does so well, getting her miss if she is going to miss. She's so good down low. She's only had 5 shots tonight, but she has 9 points and 6 rebounds. And really, even though her stats don't look great getting to double digits now compared to what they usually do, she's doing a lot more than what the stats say. She's doing a lot on defense, containing Mila Reynolds ever since she's come in. Mila Reynolds has not done as well with Patterson in the game. And Patterson just draws so much attention that other players for Homestead have been able to get open looks.
Especially on the 2 3-pointers by Emma Royce that were assisted. 2 of them that were assisted by Ayanna Patterson. The ball on the ground, collected by the Spartans with an 8-point lead. And Emma Royce called for the travel. Throws the ball in disbelief, thought she had a pivot. And another turnover for the Spartans.
And Emma Royce is going to let the ref know if she thinks the call was wrong every single time. One of the more aggressive players on defense, but a lot of the time she's getting steals, and she's just really good as a sophomore.
The ball rattling on the backboard, rebounded by Patterson. Stock over to Royce, doesn't take the 3, back to Stock, and underneath to Patterson. Fade away, no good, rebounded by Mila. She's driving inside and dribbles off of her foot. Picked up by Maggie Kinsley. Down low, Royce to Patterson in the paint. Ayanna Patterson uses all the height she owns to get herself up to 13 points. Look at this beautiful vision by Emma Royce, seeing the wide open Ayanna Patterson on the run, and Ayanna Patterson uses her height as Molly Stock exits the game with her 3rd foul. Pretty quiet night out of Molly Stock so far, only 3 points after having double-digit games her last 2.
Coming in for her is Allie Stevens, who has 9 points this game, but more importantly, 10 rebounds. That's the most of her season so far. She's played great, so in this one.
Refs have been pretty selective with their foul calls tonight. No foul. Picking up for Monique Mitchell. Instead, a turnover travel. Homestead, 10-point lead. Without their starting point guard. Jump shot. Patterson, no good. Bricked off the back of the iron. 3-pointer in the face. Shot no good for Mila Reynolds. Quick transition. Bottoms doesn't take the shot. Back out to Patterson. Over to Stevens, who doesn't take the shot. And there's another travel called on the pump fake by Allie Stevens, and she knows it.
And without Molly Stock, your point guard, this game's getting a little sloppy right now for Homestead. They've had some turnovers ever since Stock has come out of the game, and that's what she provides. Just that leadership at the point guard position, her 2nd year being a starter. That's what you miss when she's not in the game.
Molly Stock, a true #1, true point guard. As another turnover on the floor. Mila Reynolds can't handle it. Now Bottoms trapped, looking to not turn it over again, and Coach Parker forced the tape a timeout. If you're Coach Parker right now, it hasn't looked good the last couple of minutes, but you have to be satisfied at least with the defense because they have gotten the job done. 10-point lead for Homestead so far.
And in this half, they've only allowed 5 points to South Bend, Washington, who is the #1 team in the state according to Sagarin rankings. That is really impressive to only allow 5 points to a team so good in this quarter. There's still 21 seconds, but they've dominated, outscoring the Panthers by 11 points to get that lead out to double digits.
But now South Bend, Washington has a quiet advantage. Homestead down to only 2 timeouts left. They make a comeback and a run. Homestead, they won't have much of a chance to take timeouts and get their defense. If it comes down to a last-second shot, Homestead has a chance of being out of timeouts, which is not a spot you want to be. Coach Parker can't be happy about having to use up all of his timeouts.
And the main problem calling those timeouts is just picking the ball up in a corner when you're on your side of the half. You can't do that against a zone defense. They're going to trap you every time, and that's why he's forced to call that last timeout.
Homestead wasn't able to get any shots off from the stack formation e-bound. Stevens in the corner. Doesn't take the shot. 3 seconds left on the clock. Patterson down low. Big body Ayanna Patterson in the face of the girl her size. Mila Reynolds puts 2 more points on the board for the Spartans after 3 quarters. Homestead leads by 12. Huge third quarter for
Rethink your limits.
Welcome back to Homestead High School. Homestead Spartans have begun to control this basketball game. 12-point lead for the Lady Spartans over the South Bend, Washington Panthers.
A huge third quarter right there for the Spartans, outscoring the Panthers by 13 points, and they just took control, only allowing 5 points and scoring 18 in that quarter. A great job by the Spartans. You can see how much effect Ayanna Patterson has on this team. When she came back in the game, Homestead was down 8, and now they're up 12. 20-point difference.
The game truly is just different with Ayanna Patterson on the court, and although Mila Reynolds may have the points in this ball game, Ayanna Patterson might just be looking better than Mila Reynolds. Allie Stevens, quick shot, 3, no good, rebounded and swatted away. Monique Mitchell, that is the 3rd time tonight that Maggie Kinsley has been swatted into oblivion.
But either way, South Bend, Washington cannot allow second chance points, especially in this 4th quarter, being down double digits right now. You got to stop them once, not multiple times.
And Ayanna Patterson's shot gets swatted away by Mila Reynolds. In the corner and swatted out of bounds by Maggie Kinsley. Kira Reynolds has not done much so far in this game. The freshman averaging 5.1 blocks per game hasn't done much. Ball back in play. Shot no good. Fast break for Evie Bottoms and an unclean pass behind the back of Emma Royce gives the ball back to South Bend, Washington.
And that's going to frustrate Coach Parker every time, and now he's going to bring in Molly Stock for Evie Bottoms, making that bad pass. You can't have a transition 2-on-1 and throw it away like that.
Stock may not have the points to show for it so far in this game, but she has played an effect on the defensive end. Only 3 points, but has forced countless turnovers with her trap defense. 3-ball shot, no good for Mila Reynolds. She continues to just keep taking the 3-ball as her most effective method of scoring. Allie Stevens in the corner, down low to Patterson, back out to Stevens, no good. Rebounded by Kinsley. She goes for the putback. And a jump ball called. Possession arrow sticks with Homestead.
And that's the second possession in a row, not counting that fast break possession for Homestead that Maggie Kinsley has gotten in on the offensive boards. And both times, South Bend Washington has been oblivious.
Maggie Kinsley finally getting it to go underneath the basket. And on the opposite flip side, Rashonda Jones picks up Maggie Kinsley for a foul. Ayanna Patterson had her shot tipped, but the second chance points again for Homestead, giving Maggie Kinsley the 2 points and Homestead a 12-point lead, hurting South Bend Washington. Rashonda Jones, 61% free throw shooter, misses her first shot.
If you take a look there, Coach Reynolds cannot be happy with his team's play in the second half. They had such a large lead in that second quarter, got all the way up to 8, but ever since then, they've really struggled offensively and defensively.
Ball swatted out of bounds by Amaya Reynolds. And this fourth quarter, there hasn't been much time, but I think the height is starting to settle in on Homestead. There have been 3 blocks alone in this quarter and a pass swatted out. Homestead might be getting a little bit too comfortable, forgetting how much taller this South Bend Washington team is, as Ayanna Patterson drives inside to get her 17th point of the game, even after missing 12 minutes in the first half.
You feel like we haven't talked about her that much on the offensive end, but she's at 17 points now, the leading scorer for Homestead. She's just so good and so effective.
Rashonda Jones finally starting to get hot. She averages 14.9 points per game coming into this one. She answers with the 3. Swatted out of bounds again in a deja vu moment of just a couple minutes ago. Swatted out by Amaya Reynolds on the pass from Emma Royce to Allie Stevens. Ball sticks with Homestead.
And Homestead's going to have to be really careful coming down the stretch with less than 6 minutes to go. They cannot turn the ball over with a 10-point lead. You have to close. This is going to be a huge win if you...
Was the comeback by the boys basketball team in state, down 11 with 2 minutes to go. The same thing could happen for Homestead tonight as Emma Royce gets the block, the swat away. She doesn't do it much. Ball sticks with South Bend Washington.
But Emma Royce is so good defensively. She's one of the most aggressive players, her and Molly Stock. And she's been really good on the offensive end tonight also.
Mila Reynolds scores in the face of Patterson. Those two have just been going back and forth all game. Royce over to Patterson. She drives inside. Mid-range jumper swish. 19 points for Patterson. Panthers working the perimeter. 3-point shot by Rashonda Jones. And she's getting hot. Timeout taken by Coach Reynolds of South Bend, Washington, as they have come within striking distance of the Spartans.
And that's 2 threes for Rashonda Jones as you take a look at Ayanna Patterson sitting down 7 of 14, 50%, 19 points and 8 rebounds. She's really come alive ever since she's been in. But Rashonda Jones on the other side, she's made 2 threes in the last 2 minutes and trying to bring the Panthers back in this one. It's only a 7-point game, now less than 5 minutes to go. And Molly Stock's going to have to be really solid bringing the ball up the court.
It's going to be all about passing the ball around. They have to stay clean with the passing because you have to think Coach Barker, he has so much experience as a head coach. He knows you have to, the best way to defend the lead is pass the ball around, play Huntington North style basketball, be slow, maybe work even a full minute on offense to get an open shot while burning some clock.
And here in the state of Indiana, that's more of a reason than anywhere else. There's no shot clock, so you can just hold the ball as long as you want. Obviously, if you have an open shot, you're going to probably take it. There's still a decent amount of time left. But eventually, this may come down to a foul game, and Homestead's going to have to knock down their foul shots. They're 70% from the free throw line, but right now, there's too much time to start playing the foul game if you're the Panthers.
When it comes down to the free throw line, the only person that you especially should not foul is Molly Stock, as she has not missed a free throw yet this season. South Bend Washington's showing press early. Homestead's going to have to relearn how to defeat the press. They did it early in the game. They're going to have to do it again. Allie Stevens down low, swatted by Mila Reynolds. Kira Reynolds down low, swatted away by Patterson. Now Patterson on the fast break slows it up. And Homestead with the chance to pass the ball around, work some clock. Patterson down low, almost unyarded, and one for a Panna Patterson, and she has another 20-point game, her 8th of the year.
You didn't think she was going to get there as you see her going against Mila Jones, the star of the Panthers, going right at her, attacking her. And, Mila Reynolds. Reynolds has no answer for that, picking up her 3rd foul of this one, up to 21 points. And early on, coming out of the game, 14 seconds in, you didn't think Patterson was going to get to that 20-point mark, but she says, I don't think so, I'm getting there.
Anna Patterson plays with heart, she plays with passion, and now she's playing with 21 points and 9 rebounds, looking to get her 5th double-double of the season with only 1 more rebound. Great defense by Patterson, staying tall, using her 6'7" wingspan. Homestead, 9-point lead, under 4 minutes. Emma Royce carrying the ball. Don't forget, she has 15 as Ayanna Patterson takes a jumper well off the mark. Not every shot can be made by the star. 3-pointer, deep, arcing, no good. Rebounded by Ayanna Patterson, and she has another double-double. On the flip side, the 3-pointers are in stock, with Molly Stock making a 3. Shot no good, rebounded by Patterson, and Homestead can taste victory with just over 3 minutes left. 12-point lead. Allie Stevens, pump fake, 3. No good, rebounded by Amaya Reynolds. Mila, down low, spin move, Kareem hook shot, no good, and Kira Reynolds fouled on the putback.
And take a look here, that fast break for Molly Stock. She has such a quick release, wide open. We talked about it in the pregame. You cannot let her and Stevens get open. It's only the 4th shot for Stock this game, but she's 2 of 4, really efficient, higher than her 3-point percentage going into this one. And on the other side, Kira Reynolds at the line now. She has not had a good game. You can see she's frustrated after that free throw. She's only had 4 points in this one, and she averages 8.2. It's really just been a struggle for all of the Panthers this half.
Rebounded by Kinsley. She's had a silent 6 rebounds tonight. Allie Stevens left wide open, no good. Allie Stevens continues to struggle from the 3-point range, as she has in her last 4 games. And a foul called on Maggie Kinsley, her 4th foul, playing really aggressive. Not someone you want to see exit the game. 9.7 rebounds for Kinsley. As Evie Bottoms comes in the game for Kinsley, she's greeted by a round of applause. And another, we have seen this already a couple times this year. We saw this in the Huntington North game. Ayanna Patterson is getting taken out of the game for blood. The arena goes silent, trying to figure out what's going on. You cannot have live blood on the basketball court. There is blood. There is a blood stain just beyond the 3-point line. And on Ayanna Patterson's knee, here she goes. She's running to the locker room alongside her captain, Maggie Kinsley, to go get that wrapped up and get a Band-Aid.
I think she may have to change her uniform just because she had blood on her after that. It looked like it was on her legs there. So she's going to have to get that cleaned up. And there's some just above the 3-point line right now. The refs are looking inside the paint to see if there's any. And you just got to get that cleaned up Fortunately for the Spartans, though, they're going to take a break for it, and that'll give Patterson and Kinsley a chance. As you see right there on the court, the red mark from the blood.
Just beyond the three-point line. On the left side, the referees go to take it. It's also inside the paint. Ayanna Patterson, this is the second time already this year that she has had to deal with the blood issue against Huntington North. It didn't phase her, though. In fact, it made her even more energized. In a close game that Huntington North was playing, she came back, bodied the entire Lady Vikings team to an 8-point victory.
And it's kind of like what happened today, just without blood. She got 2 fouls early on and has bodied the entire Panthers team ever since she's come back in. She's now up to 21 points and 11 rebounds. She's been the leading player, but the other player that just came out, Maggie Kinsley, after picking up her 4th foul, was the one that got the Spartans team going. She had 7 early points in the first quarter. She showed up as a leader in that first quarter just to help the Spartans get going. And then Emma Royce, she's really played so well today. 15 points, 3 threes. She hasn't missed from 3, actually. She's only missed 1 shot tonight, 6 of 7 overall.
All of Homestead has done a great job as Ayanna Patterson comes back into the game without her tights on, sitting on the bench for the Spartans as the trainers get to her. She's putting her shoes on, putting those J's back on her feet to come back into the game.
You got to wonder whether or not they're going to make the Spartans start without her on the court here. And looks like the refs are going over to Coach Parker to tell him to play. Sydney Freem's going to be in, and also Evie Bottoms is going to remain in for Maggie Kinsley. And there's 2 minutes, 43 seconds left in this one. It is really important for Homestead to finish this one strong. South Bend, Washington is in the bonus right now, and it's just going to be important. They're leaving players open already.
Offensive board. South Bend, Washington gets the answer. Brought to you by Raya Wilson. 10-point game. Aggressive press for Wilson. Stop. Trap. Has to get the ball out and turns the ball over. One-on-one. Underneath. And a travel called on Kira Reynolds at the worst time possible, because that gives UConn signee Ayanna Patterson a chance to enter the game.
And a great job by the Panthers defense to trap Molly Stock and not allow her to get the pass out, but also she needs to keep her dribble, not pick it up in a corner.
Homestead gets the ball across the timeline, so essential. Now they're going to play that pass game. Burn out the clock. No shot clock in the state of Indiana. Molly Stock for 3 from beyond the arc. That is the nail in the coffin for the Homestead Spartans. 13-point lead over the #1 rated team in the state of Indiana. The crowd on their feet. They're excited. Wilson, open 3, no good. Tipped around offensive board for Wilson. South Bend, Washington has to start scoring, and they have to start scoring fast. Zone defense working for the Spartans. Bench on their feet. Maya Reynolds over to Wilson. She drives inside, blocked, and a foul called on the shot on Emma Royce.
And either way, a really productive defensive possession right there for the Spartans. They didn't allow anyone to get off a shot.
And Mila Reynolds, you saw that last shot. She was limping on the basketball court. Not a good sign for South Bend, Washington, as they are down 13, nothing going their way right now. Their best player with a limp in her leg, not being able to play aggressive offense. As Lauren Gillen comes into the game for Kira Reynolds, a girl who has just struggled so far tonight. She might be coming out of the game indefinitely with only 80 seconds left on the clock. Second free throw, no good, and the rebound cannot be collected by Ayanna Patterson. Ball sticking with South Bend, Washington, but it might be too little, too late.
The 13-point lead for the Spartans with 1:17. It probably is too late for the Panthers to come back in this one. They're going to have to get off shots really quick.
Molly Stock with the steal, has her arm held, no foul called. Patterson saves it from going out of bounds and causes a turnover. Mila on the offensive side, dishes a pass out of bounds through the hands of her sister, Amaya Reynolds. And Homestead can do more than just taste victory. They can touch it with their fingertips.
And this has been one of the best the best game for the Spartans so far this year. Really complete game. Ayanna Patterson, ever since she's come in, they've looked so good offensively and defensively. She's just the energizer of this team, and her teammates also stepped up today. All starters having 9 or more points.
South Bend, Washington starting the foul game. They still have 2 more fouls to give. The pass outside stays in bounds, and Homestead continuing to pass the ball around, wasting as much clock as they can. And the fans on their feet at Homestead High School. Down low, Allie Stevens doesn't take the wide open shot, as Homestead looks to burn out the clock. 13-point lead, 65-52, 25 seconds on the clock. Royce on the ball offensively. And finally, Amaya Reynolds fouls Ayanna Patterson. Ball will stay on the floor. 1 more foul to give for South Bend, Washington. Under 20 seconds left to play. Stock takes the inbound, tosses it over to Allie Stevens, who holds the basketball over to Royce, who had the best game of her life. Back to Stevens, who had the essential shot at the end of the first half, and the Homestead Spartans have knocked off the #1 team in the state of Indiana here at home at Spartan Arena. Final score, 65-52.
What a huge win for the Spartans here tonight. They showed why they're so good, and they beat the #1 team, as you mentioned. That's going to help their confidence. They lost earlier to Noblesville, but they don't care about that right now. This is what's all on their mind. Ayanna Patterson, Emma Royce, the 2 huge players for this game.
And now we send it down to the best sideline reporter in the state of Indiana, who's standing by with the best basketball player in the state of Indiana.
Thanks, Anthony. I'm here with senior Ayanna Patterson. And Ayanna, you went to the bench in the first 30 seconds with 2 fouls. Talk about the way your teammates were able to stay in this game while you were out.
They were able to face the adversity, knowing that we got those calls. They were able to deal with it and be strong, knowing that all the 12 people on our team are able and capable to go in for me and get the job done.
And how were the Spartans able to get back in this one, starting late in the second half when it seemed like things started clicking for your team?
We just relied on our chemistry, knowing that we played together and played strong, and we know we've been in games like this, and we know we can overcome that adversity and get through it. So,
for you yourself, a lot of people claim this as a battle of the 2 best seniors in the state. Another double-double for you tonight. How would you assess your play?
Oh, it started off slow, just me not playing in that first quarter, but I think I picked it up knowing that the type of game it was and the type of energy that I was going to have. Just knowing that I had to come with that energy, she's going to come with that intensity, just meant great. It was great.
A huge win over the #1 team in Class 3A tonight. How much does a win like this boost this team's confidence?
It boosts the team confidence a lot. Being able to get a win like this in our home gym, it was a statement game, and it's going to go all over the state, and it's just something to know that we got a target on our back now.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anthony, back to you.
Amazing game for Ayanna Patterson, an amazing game for all of Homestead as they knocked off the #1 team in the state of Indiana. 13-point win for the Homestead.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Welcome back to Homestead High School as we just experienced a thriller. What an amazing game we had on our palms tonight as we take a look at the final stats. Homestead, 45% from the field, out-besting South Bend, Washington by 6%. And where it really struck for the Spartans was the three-point line.
Yes, it definitely was. Going into the halftime, it was 6 of 12 for the Spartans and 6 of 13 for the Panthers. The Panthers went 2 of 9 in that second half. They could not find an answer anywhere on the offensive side. But also a huge part of this game was the rebounds. 38-27 in the favor of the Spartans, out-rebounding the bigger team by 11. And a huge job by Allie Stevens to have 10 rebounds and 9 points, almost getting a double-double. She had chances, but she didn't care. They were just happy about this one. And obviously, Ayanna Patterson leading with 11 rebounds.
Talk about players that stepped up. Allie Stevens, it's always been about Ayanna Patterson rebounding the basketball for the Spartans. It always has been. She averages a whopping 10.1 rebounds per game coming into this one. But when she went out of the game in the first quarter, she was out for 12 minutes of play. Allie Stevens, 10 rebounds. Maggie Kinsley, 7 rebounds. They both stepped up for the Spartans, got second chance points, got open three-point shots, got some assists, and really just helped Homestead stay in this game without Patterson. And, of course, when Patterson came in, it was all over for the Lady Panthers.
And it was those upperclassmen, those leaders with more experience. Maggie Kinsley really helped Homestead stay in it early. They got down 8, but they were never going to not fight back. A great job by Kinsley and Stevens. Even though Kinsley fouled out, that just shows you how aggressive she was all game, especially on the offensive glass. In the third quarter, she had 3 offensive rebounds on 4 possessions.
And with that, we're going to wrap up today's amazing live stream and this amazing basketball game. Thank you for watching tonight. The final score, 65-52. On behalf of the Homestead Live crew, including producer Caleb Wood, switcher Carly Flanagan, our 4 camera operators, Nisha Lalaria, our main camera operator, sideline reporter Jenna Lane, and color commentator Noah Lancz. I'm Anthony Gery signing off. Catch us the next Homestead Live broadcast.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.